celebrating teachers and, of course, protecting the environment. Danilo is a little bit late for the show today, so Danilo is in detention. He's in the naughty corner. Sorry, boy. But first, Bonang is in the lounge with our first guest.
Thank you so much. You see what happens, Danilo, when you're late? Aha, aha. But anyway, let's get on with the show. He has appeared in more than 25 films, 40 stage plays, and 12 television series. We get to know him from his role in Isidingo, and he has since earned credits in various international movies, including Blood Diamond, Black Butterfly, and Invictus. Currently, he's charming us as the very awkward vice principal in SABC3's comedy Those Who Can't. Joining us on the couch is Grant Swanby. Welcome to the Loft. Lovely to finally meet you.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you very much.
But Grant, you've been in the industry for over 20 years and you're currently working on 3 projects that I really want to talk about. Let's start with the first one, Modder and Bloed.
Yeah.
Blood and Glory.
Blood and Glory.
Where you play sort of, is it a South African or Australian imperialist?
Yeah, well, what it is, the story is very much, it's set in the Anglo-Boer War on the island of St. Helena, and it's a prisoner of war camp.
Wow.
And within the context of the whole prisoners and the prison guards, there ends up being a rugby match between the prisoners and the guards. I play the head of the prisoner of war camp, Colonel Swanel. And he is an Australian. So,
Australia.
It's also because it's got like a rugby theme. We thought it'd be really good to make the villain, our kind of traditional sporting foes. But it's a really interesting movie, and as I understand it, will also be released in English. I know it's got an international release also as Blood and Glory and in Afrikaans as in Modder and Bloed.
And then moving on to your second project, Finders Keepers, and that's where you play a Russian crime boss.
Yeah.
With a Russian accent?
This is very difficult what to do with Russians. So that it's a crazy sort of thing. I was filming them both at the same time, and so it ended up being a bit of a kind of multiple personality kind of a time in my life. Also due for release halfway through next year or in the beginning of next year. And this is a comedy, sort of action comedy, a kind of a Guy Ritchie type action comedy, Maynard Clark directed, and it features some South African comedians like Stuart Taylor, Dalen Oliver. It's got a very Cape Town feel to it. It's set in Cape Town, but it also it's going to have universal appeal, and hopefully is also really funny.
But Grant, is it then difficult for you when you're shooting such 2 big films like that at the same time to kind of hop from one character to the next, and also with accents? Did you struggle a bit, or do you finally get into the rhythm and routine?
The interesting thing about accents especially is that if you're on a big international feature, then there are dialect coaches, there's a whole lot of people on set, but for these, we kind of being in South Africa, we find it ourselves, and I was the only person with an Australian accent on the one set and the only person with a Russian accent on the other, so I had to keep reminding myself that I was and not fall into my own accent. But when you're working on 2 projects at the same time, you just have to keep yourself very clear between them.
Stunning. And then, of course, your third project, Joburg Beyond the River, where you play a canoeing champion that mentors a black athlete.
Yeah.
And you had to go through some grueling training for the actual movie. Tell me a little bit more about this project.
Well, this is a real passion project. This is amazing. It's kind of based on a real story about a guy who was getting to the end of his canoeing career, and he, as you said, he teams up with a young black paddler, and they end up doing the Doozy Canoe Marathon together. So as I say, it's kind of based on fact, although the things have been shifted around for a bit of artistic license. And I have had to learn how to canoe, which I got to tell you is pretty difficult.
Did you not know how to do it before?
Not at all, and it's much harder than it looks. You kind of, I spend most of the time almost wanting not to fall in.
Yeah.
But it's, it's great when you can do a movie and you can actually, learn a new skill. It's great.
That's fantastic, and that's the one you're shooting right now.
I'm about to start.
Oh, you're about to start. So how long did it take for you to prepare your body, your mind, the canoeing, the technicalities around that?
I've been canoeing for about 4 months now, so it was a really steep learning curve. Also because I was shooting on the other films, I didn't really have time. So in between, I was trying to get in time to get in on the water, and so I'm on every day, falling in, getting back in, falling in, and yeah, I should be ready by we start shooting on the 17th.
That is incredible. Where do you find the time, to juggle a series on SABC3, 3 movies all at the same time? Do you sleep? Do you have a time timetable? Do you need to kind of keep reminding yourself where you are and what you're doing?
Actually, I mostly just remind myself how lucky I am. You know, for anybody who's in the profession, we know that it's not as glamorous or as easy as it's made out to be. We're always out there auditioning. We're always looking for work. We, you know, hungry to try and, you know, do better and better projects. And so I just feel grateful to be able to get the opportunity.
And talking about, you know, the profession, you are one of the founding members of the South African Actors Guild. Why do you feel, you know, projects like this, or sort of, I don't know what to call it, but you like a project that protects actors? Why do you think it's so important in this day and age, particularly in our country?
You know, for anybody who's in any work situation, they often are protected by your kind of union or whatever, you know, employees in business. But us that are in a freelance capacity, it makes it quite difficult because we're freelance, we're independent contractors, we make, you know, sign contracts with individual producers, etc. And we always feel that we're in a position where we potentially open for exploitation, etc. And this need arose very strongly in our industry some time back, and I came on board as it started and was part of the first board. But you know, someone like Jack Devnarain, he's our current chairman, who people know from Isidingo and SBC3, and he is somebody who helps run the thing. So as I said, we started it up, and what it does is it kind of protects actors from exploitation, just tries to get us a better deal. And it's volunteer, steered by volunteers in the profession. So, you know, I'm very proud of it. And, you know, actors out there, you know, join up.
Absolutely. I hope they're watching. Join up, like he says. Grant, thank you very, very much. You aren't going anywhere, because a little bit later we're going to talk about that fantastic comedy series on SABC3. After the break, Jeannie makes us some fresh hake, and we chat to more of the cast of members of SABC3's Those Who Can't. Don't move.
The #1 choice of skincare professionals worldwide.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, celebrating World Teachers' Day, celebrating all of the educators across the country today as well. Danilo is, of course, in the naughty corner, because just sometimes, have you ever met somebody that just needs a good hiding? And he's definitely one of them. We, however, are in the kitchen, and we're about to learn how to make some delicious, tasty hake. And I'm seeing there's some like interesting mint over here, so it's going to have some interesting flavors. Remember, you can cook with us. All you need to do is visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and there we have our shopping list, and we have all of the ingredients that you're going to need to whip up this sensational dish. So, where do we get started?
Okay, so we're going to tag team it. I'll do the fish, and you can do the dressing, okay?
Deal.
All right, fantastic. So you're just going to mix your ginger and your lemongrass together, as well as the tamarind paste and the sriracha sauce and the honey. So we're just going to mix it all in one bowl.
I'm just going to mix everything in here. Okay, all of it?
And I'll do the fish so long.
So, all of the ginger?
Yes, all of the ginger.
All of the ginger. Okay, all of the lemongrass. This is fantastic. I mean, I've never had it with fish before, but I've had it with miso soup, and it's legendary.
Wow.
And this is?
And that is tamarind dressing.
Okay,
Blue
the whole
elephant
thing?
tamarind dressing, yes. The whole thing.
Look at this, a regular cook. And now, what are you doing to the fish?
And the fish, I'm just going to portion it. I'm just going to cut it into 4 small pieces.
Great.
And yeah, I mean, it's fun for the whole family, really. And I love this thing I love about this recipe is that it's very, very quick. You can literally coming in from work, and you can, you know, if you're a mother, you can just do it very quickly. It's very, very simple thing to do. Yeah.
Okay, now how much of this stuff? This is the sriracha. We're actually going to be cooking sriracha on the show one of these days.
Oh, really?
Okay, how much do I throw in? Like a tablespoon?
Yes.
How's that?
There you go.
Okay. Is it going to, do I want it quite burny?
I mean, as burny as you want it. If you want it more burny, then you cook it, then you add more.
I like some meat. Okay.
So do I, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so I've just thrown a little bit more than a tablespoon of the sriracha, just to give it that mwah. That's a little bit of a bite. Okay, and then how much honey?
You're going to add about 3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons of honey?
Yeah.
Then I might add more sriracha.
You can just make it 2 to, you know, I mean, you do it to taste. Okay. That's the best thing, yeah. Well, I mean, a recipe is always just a guide. You can always just, you know, add more or less of whatever you want to. Whatever
That's
it is
true for cooking, though. I think
Yes.
it's all about flair and flavour, where with baking, you've got to stick to the exact ingredients.
Yeah,
It's like
baking
science.
It's all about precision. That's all it
Yes.
is.
I'd be a useless baker. Okay, this is looking quite tasty already. Smells good.
And like I was saying before, like the fish that we have is sustainable, and what that means is just basically that we are cooking for, not cooking, but you fish enough for what you need, and then you leave some left over.
Excellent.
Yeah, for
Caring
future
for our
generations.
environment.
Yes.
Does that mean it's part of the SASSY list?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. And SASSY list is basically they grade fish according to whether it's green, red, or orange.
Perfect.
Yes, and you always go for the ones on the green list. That's when you know it's
Perfect.
safe. Yeah.
And Hake is always a good choice, I think.
Hake is always a good choice.
Definitely.
We're just going to use these scissors.
Okay, what's our next step?
The next step is we're just going to brush it on top. So can you
Okay.
just pass me the thingy there?
Of course.
And can you pass me the pan as well?
Of course.
Awesome.
I'll just be your PA today.
Okay. And that piece of foil there, please.
Of course. Across like that?
Okay, yes. Just like that. And then what you can do so long is just pick a little bit of the mint and cut it up with scissors. Mm-hmm. And
throw
you
it
can
in
just
there?
throw it in there.
Okay,
Yes.
and of course my hands were washed before this entire process.
Mine too.
I think everyone's going to assume that your hands are really clean since this is your job. And no one knows where I've been. I'm kidding.
Okay, fantastic.
How's that?
That is perfect.
Mint
perfect.
is just beautiful. It gives such a nice freshness to every bite.
Amazing, amazing aroma.
There you go. There you go. Ready for you to spread.
Awesome. Okay, and the honey that we're using is fynbos honey. And what that basically means is that they take the whatchamacallit?
I don't know what whatchamacallit is. I know enough about honey.
They take the hives, yes, that's
Yeah,
the word I'm looking
the
for.
beehives.
They take the hives and they put them among the fynbos plants so that it gets like a nice floral fynbos kind of
Oh, that is
taste. Yeah,
great.
it's got a nice delicate floral flavour.
Okay. So we're going to be putting this in the oven and
Yeah.
grilling it?
Yes,
For how long?
about 10 minutes. 10 minutes is more than enough.
Fantastic. I'll go do that. Remember to find the recipe on afternoonexpress.co.za. This looks sensational. While I pop this in the oven, Bonang is on the couch with our next guest.
Thank you so much, Shini. It really does look yummy. Can't wait to dig in. But today is, of course, World Teachers' Day, and we're currently running a competition on our Facebook page where you can nominate your most amazing teacher to win an amazing hamper. Be sure to head over there and submit your entry right now. The winner will be announced at the end of the show. Now, we're joined by the cast of SABC3's popular high school comedy, Those Who Can't. Now, this hilarious show takes us into the little-known world of an elite but dysfunctional private school where the playground and staff room are hard to tell apart and the grown-ups are just as mature as 12-year-olds. Welcome to the world of the high school teacher, and with us we have the principal, vice principal and secretary. Please welcome Sello, Sebotsane, Robyn Scott and of course Mr. Grant Swanby. Welcome to the loft.
Thank you so
Lovely
much.
to have you.
Thank you.
Principal Dlamini.
And by the way, it's Sebotsane.
Sebotsane.
Thank you, the
as
beautiful one.
Sibaba.
Thank you.
You
No, it is.
play the beautiful
Of course. It's a fact.
I know.
Yeah, you too, eh?
I wish I was in the school. Thank you so much. So you play the principal,
Yes.
Ezekiel Dlamini.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your school and all these quirky things you
Well,
get up to.
100% pass rate. We all do know what... Yes, we do know what we do.
Yes, of course.
We all love each other.
Yes.
Yeah, we up to date
Every day.
every day.
But what happens on a typical day when school starts in the morning? What are some of the things that happen at your school, Principal?
People get educated.
Oh, no, they don't. That's
Oh,
the one-
yeah, they do. Come on,
It's the
guys.
one thing that doesn't happen. Those who can't.
Everything else happens, but just no education.
Whatsoever.
None.
So it really is dysfunctional. But Robyn, you play the secretary, and as far as I know, right, secretaries are all about the gossip.
Marlena, is Marlena a boss? I don't know. No, the wonderful thing about playing Marlena is that she is just deeply evil. And
Really?
she's so evil. She's a psychopath.
Look at her with that smile on her face.
She's just, and what's lovely about her is that, you know, she's so larger than life, and the script writers can really take her anywhere in script stories. She's quite vampiric. The worrying factor was that they wrote the part for me. So, Benang, I don't quite know what that means if the script writers thought that I was like that. But I'm not. Very nice
Nothing,
person.
not at all. Very nice person.
Very nice person, yeah.
Absolutely.
Not evil at all.
Hilarious you are,
Thank
Robyn.
you very much.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Grant, you play the vice. I love her, right? You play the vice principal.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of preparing for this role after playing like a crime boss, an imperialist, and getting into this comedy. Was it a relief for you?
It's great. Victor is so stuck up. He is like, if that was written for her, this just so wasn't written for me. He is sort of A-type personality, and everything has to be just so. He's OCD, and of course it's great with the two of them because they're always ganging up on him, and he just sets himself up to be made a fool of over and over again, and they do. Over and over again.
I love this Marlena. I think
she's lovely.
She's lovely. She's very, very lovely. But when you did get the script and they said to you, Robyn, we want you to play this very hilarious secretary, what were your initial thoughts?
Well, I'm one of those actors that I always do a little bit of research, and I you know, secretaries, I'm not really sure. So I took myself, and Marlena has got a little bit of German in her. So I took myself off to the German school, and I spoke to the school secretary, and I said, "This is what I'm doing. Do you mind if I just watch you for, I don't know, an hour or so?"
Yeah.
I stayed there like.
The whole day?
Practically.
Sort
of.
Did you get any work done?
3 months.
This tiny little German secretary, she was petrified of me by the time I sort of left. She had no idea what I was doing, and I was sort of like there, like, what are you doing now? Oh, that's what you do. And stapling and things.
Love that.
But it's fun. It's a fun show, and it's doing so well. People are just
really
raving about it.
I mean, that's
and we're
why-
very proud of it.
We are extremely proud of it as well. I mean, the reason why we brought you here today is because we are celebrating World Teachers' Day. So let me start with you. Do you have any teachers that you remember that changed your life, or a special one that will always be at the back of your head?
Well, I'm here to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Please.
So help you God.
Yeah, help me. Look, I really didn't enjoy school because of the system that we grew under.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I didn't really enjoy. I loved all my teachers because their intentions was right, you know.
Yes.
But I actually enjoyed tertiary more than school.
Okay.
You know, because that's where I grew up and became a little bit this and that.
Halala.
Halala, you know. But yeah, as I say, I think we need to change the education system and really teach the real things about us South Africans. Yeah, and then we can talk about teachers that are really honor and remember. But for the moment, I don't want to lie.
All right. Grant, for you, anybody in your life that you remember, a teacher, a professor?
Well, you know, the thing for me is I you know, and it's International Teachers' Day, and I've a lot of sort of sympathy for teachers having to deal with learners all day long. But I also didn't have a great school experience. But I do remember my standard 2, it was grade 4 teacher, whatever, because I was in love with her. So.
That's easy.
Miss Rogers, who ended up getting married, and I was heartbroken, as was most of the other guys.
All right.
So she's my most memorable.
Fantastic. Robyn, for you?
As I said earlier, David Stevenson, Chris Weir, really have helped shape and mould my career.
Stunning.
And I'm very grateful for them. I would, however, like to apologise to Mr. Richard van der Westhuizen. I'd like to make the apology on TV.
Hopefully
Hello,
he's watching.
sir. I'm sorry that we locked you in the supply cupboard during movement class. I wasn't the instigator of that. I'm really sorry.
We do have Robyn's number, sir, if you are watching, so we can
sorry.
get you in contact with him. But thank you so much for coming through, Grant, Sello and Robyn. Thank you very much. I look forward to watching it. Make sure you catch Those Who Can't Monday evenings at 8 p.m. right here on SABC3. After the break, we have an amazing teacher feature, and there's a little surprise in store for the cast members of Those Who Can't. Stay right where you are. We'll be back after this.
Get 15% off with W Rewards when you pay with your Woolies card. Get the card, get the rewards.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, she was voted the 2013 Lead SA Hero and is considered a superwoman in the gangster-ridden community of Manenberg, Cape Town. In 2010, she opened a free independent educational institution for underprivileged learners from grade 8 to grade 12, known as the Leadership College. And joining us on the couch is this extraordinary woman who made it her priority to provide those who could not afford to pay for schooling with a good quality education. Welcome, Mrs. Ashra Norton.
Thank you very much.
So lovely to have you. Your story is so inspiring. Now, you came up with this concept about 33 years ago, but it only came into fruition in 2008. What was the journey to that point?
Yeah, my family was part of the families that were displaced from the District 6, and we kind of found ourselves in Manenberg. So I grew up in Manenberg, and I was also one of those aspiring young little students that wanted to be something great one day. Yeah. And I was going to do pharmacy. Because of financial constraints, my parents couldn't really afford to send me to university when I matriculated in 1984 in a school in Manenberg, the Silverstream High School. And I ended up either I was going to do nursing or teaching. Yeah. And then I found myself doing teaching. And in my first year of studies, I did an assignment on gangsterism and drugs. To me, my family was very strict. We were loved and cared for, even though we lived in this area, Manenberg. Next door to us was the shebeen, and on the other side was drug lords. But my family was very caring, my mother especially. And I then went to teaching, and like I said, in my first year, I did an assignment. And my mother said, you can't go to Athlone. That was the nearest place where you could find a library. Yeah. So I went into a kind of a live research with some of these gang lords. And, you know, to my surprise...
You would just talk to them and sit with them.
I would go because many of their sisters and brothers were in my class. Yes. So it was easy for me just to go to their homes. Them, And what, to my surprise, was that many of these young... I called them that time, I said they were young, aspiring, they were youth that were aspiring to greatness. And I then realized that they were short of role models in their lives. Many of their fathers were in prison. Many of them were taken care of by grandmothers who were already 70, 80 years old, and a 15-year-old young aspiring prospective leader wants greatness and he wants to explore, and the grannies had to take care of them. And this idea haunted me for more than 30 years, like I said, and I thought something needs to happen in these areas for those aspiring leaders. You know, like the government must take charge of the majority of the community, but those ones that you know, you can see the skills, the talent, it's real leadership abilities.
And you took it upon yourself.
And I took it upon myself in 2010 on the 18th of January, and we opened the Leadership College.
Wow, that's incredible. And you started out with 40 students in a mosque, and you've now grown to a fully operational school, and you've got 6 branches?
Yeah. We never dreamt that it would grow so quick. In 2010, we could only accommodate 40 learners because we only had 2 classrooms. So in the middle of that year, there was a whole delegation from the various communities in that area, coming from the church groups, the youth groups. They said, you need to open this for more learners because we really see the difference that it's making in the 40 students that you've got. And by the grace of God, you know, things just grew and it mushroomed. Yeah. And then I was contacted by the Mitchell's Plain community, and we opened a school there. And then we were contacted by the Delft community, and we opened a preschool there. And then in Johannesburg, we've also got a branch.
I mean, I can imagine it takes quite a unique type of educator to teach in a school like yours. What is the criteria you use to select your teachers?
Okay, we're very fortunate. We kind of get that middle-aged teacher that has gone through life that is now say, you know what? I don't need to pay for a bond. My car is paid up. I am comfortable. So, and most of our teachers come from the Model C and the private schools. So they really want to give, it's passion. They want to give.
And they're community-driven.
Community-driven.
What are some of your success stories? I know there are many, but if you could just share 3 of them.
Okay, the one that really stands out is we had our first matriculants last year. Yeah. And in the entire Manenberg, there was 33 distinctions. And from the 33, 30 came from our school. I'm talking about all the students that did matric. And then also one of our learners, she got 7 distinctions, the first in the history of Manenberg. It's the first time that an achievement of that was reached. Wow. And she's doing medicine at UCT. She got the full scholarship.
Oh, that's absolutely
So that is something that really stands out, yeah. And then other students of ours are doing OT at UWC. They, like in all the universities. And that is something in Manenberg, you don't find it. You know why? Because even the subjects that they offer in the public schools in Manenberg, there's no subject like physics or pure maths. It's like everybody does. Maths lit, tourism. No subjects like that, visual arts.
Wow, you're truly inspiring. Thank you so much, and all the best with your Leadership Academy.
Thank you very much.
Well, Jeannie and Bonang have a classroom set up, and it's all fun and games, it seems.
Well, it's exam time here on Afternoon Express, and to celebrate World Teachers' Day, we're going to put our guests to the test. How much can they really remember from high school?
No.
Do I look like a teacher who remembers anything from high school? Okay, so we're going to start off with...
All right, we're each going to grab a pack of cards, right? So there's biology, there's history, there's physics, and there's geography.
Okay, I'm going to start off with biology. That was my favourite subject at school. And the first person to put their hand up gets the answer and gets the point. Okay. Behave, young man.
Yes. Detention.
And the question is, what is the female tube part of the body where the eggs from the ovaries travel to the uterus?
The Miss Robyn. Fallopian tubes.
Yes, thank you very much. Robyn gets the first point.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, now let's go to my next favourite subject, geography. All right, remember the first person to put... Okay. Where is Kilimanjaro located in Africa? Oh, come on.
Yes, Grant.
Tanzania?
Yes! Grant gets 1 point.
Gold star.
And I expect all of you to be climbing it next year for charity, right? It's what celebs do. Okay, let's go physics.
Oh, is that maths?
Science.
I don't know. Name one of the parts that make up an atom. Yes, Grant.
Proton? Neutron? Electron?
Yes! Oh my goodness,
Science
how did you
teacher
know
in
that?
those accounts.
Okay, let's go to history.
Okay, this is me.
Who was King Louis XVI's wife, who was also beheaded in the French Revolution?
Not Marie Antoinette. It was...
the other one.
Okay, Grant, this is yours.
Well, but that was...
Anthony Cake.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yes, that's her. It was her.
What was her name? Oh, come on, Cameron.
You had it.
You had it. You had it. You said it.
You said
Marie
it.
Antoinette.
Yes!
I didn't jump in because you got it right.
Come on, sir.
Generous, huh?
Okay, let's go back to biology. An organism in a mother's womb grows from a zygote to an embryo to
a baby.
Before it's a baby.
It's a little
Fetus.
Yes.
A baby.
Okay, next one. What are maps called that show the elevation in an area?
Topography.
Yeah, topographical.
Sorry, Miss Ma'am.
Yes, I'll give you the point anyway, but yes, you are quite right.
Well done, Robyn.
Gee, this was quite a clever class.
I told you I didn't enjoy school, so I'm streetwise, not school-wise.
Okay, here, you'll get this one. What was the equation for Einstein's theory of special relativity? Grant.
E equals mc squared.
Yeah.
And you were so worried. Okay, running out of time. Who was the woman who made a stand in America in regards to black rights by refusing to move from her seat on a bus?
No.
Give it Sello.
No, you like to think.
Rosen something. Rosen Parks.
Rosa Parks.
Yes.
Yes. Didn't the Black Eyed Peas even sing about them? No, you like to think. Okay, well, there you go. Do we have more time for more questions?
One more. I have
Okay, no, let's tally up the scores.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for Grant, 1, 2, 3 for Robyn, and 1 for Sello. Grant is our winner.
No. Less is more.
Okay, so Sello's our winner.
Do we have prizes for them? I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll give them dinner.
Oh, we'll feed you a little bit later. That will be your prize.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much, Grant, Robyn, and Sello. You see how funny they are? Imagine how funny they are on this series. Make sure you catch it Mondays, 8 p.m. on SABC3. Danilo's still in the naughty corner. What do you think he should do in order to get out of that naughty corner? Let us know. He's got his phone in his hand because he's tweeting. So use our official hashtag Afternoon Express and tag us right now at Afternoon Chat. But there's still so much to do, right?
I know. After the break, we're going to be back on the couch with our guests to chat about some of our fondest school experiences. Do you want to shout out to your favourite teacher, or do you have a memorable school experience that you want to share? If you do, and if you want to join the conversation, give us a call now on 083 913 3728. We'll be right back after this.
Surrender to indulgence. Which will you give into first? Creation from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Welcome back this Afternoon Express on SABC3, and we are live today. Being International Teachers' Day, we decided that it would be fitting to discuss some of our favourite school experiences. We're back on the couch with the cast of Those Who Can't, Grant, Robyn and Sello. But before we get to them, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, we asked you to share some of your amazing experiences. Who's your most amazing teacher and why?
Yeah, well, we've got a message right up now. It's Lolly Ludlow, and she says, I nominate Kelly DeVet and Amy van Veek. Amy van Veek, they deserve it for always going above and beyond the call of duty and actually doing the job for the love of the job. They're inspiring and loving ladies.
Thank you so much, Lolly. Awesome. That was on Facebook. Gregory De Silva says, Hazel Bonaretti from Springs Boys High School has changed not only the school, but the entire district. She inspired me to help communities and to speak out on everything I care about. Wow, lovely
that's
stuff.
Amazing. Guys, can you think off the top of your head any teachers that really made a huge impact on your life growing up?
You know, for me, I was saying earlier, that I can't think of, specific individual teachers. There are a lot of people who help you along the way. But it's just, for me, really important to take a moment to actually think about what teachers do. All teachers, how much time they put in, how much time they put in after school, how difficult it is to be a teacher with a whole lot of young learners. And so I think it's...
Their day doesn't end when the bell rings.
Absolutely, and I think we should really honour them. I think they do an amazing job, all of them.
And it's really a vocation. It's not something that you can do because it's a job. It has to be a really deep calling.
I know. I'm busy teaching at UCT at the moment, the final drama students, and it's so fulfilling, and it also feels like, that in a way that you're giving back a little bit as well, and that's so great. I hope they're saying nice things about me.
And there's something that happens when you give. You get back immediately. There's an exchange.
I'm also in a similar boat. I'm also, an acting teacher or whatever, but what I find is the inspiration that you get from students. Wow. They make you, also, we're teaching acting like Robyn does, so it's almost like you share something and then something comes back to you and you're like, I'm learning. I'm supposed to be teaching you, but I'm the one who's learning.
You're very much young at heart.
I love that. Let's go back to our social media. Fatima BB Dean says, I nominate Mrs. Nalin Rapadap from my high school biology teacher, I beg your pardon, from Liverpool Secondary School in Actonville, Benoni. She always taught me with a smile and from the heart, and I can still picture her and I can almost hear that infectious laugh, smile, emoticon. She's so cool. She is on Facebook. Go, madam! Wow. Do you have any teachers that you loved, Bonnie, that changed your life, that impacted you?
I remember a teacher called Sister Francis at Dominican Convent. Whenever we did the yearly class photos, when my photo came out, she'd always say to me, I love all your pictures, they look absolutely amazing, but Bonnie, you've got the most amazing smile and dimples. And I remember I used to get so shy and want to hide, but I've never forgotten that she used to say that.
I mean, I also went to Dominican Convent and our principal was Sister Natalie. And she's one woman that I absolutely loved. And then I moved on then to Foyers High School, matriculated in 2005, and there was my geography teacher, Mrs. Dupree, and also just a woman that was like, you're going to be amazing, you're going to be fantastic, you're going to be on TV one day, and look where I am. So,
That's amazing. She was like, way to go for great teachers. We're also doing a great competition. You get to nominate your favorite teacher, and they get to win a day of pampering. Check out our Facebook page, afternoonexpress.co.za.
Absolutely. But right now, let's go check in with that food. We're feeling a little hungry, Jeannie. How far are you, boo?
I am doing so well in this kitchen. Thankfully, none of my teachers taught me how to cook, amongst other things. Okay, so we've created the most amazing fish dish over here. Didn't take long at all, and it is absolutely sensational. Now we're going to work on the sides. Right. What are we having? I think we've got like a super healthy, carb-free vibe going.
Yes.
What are you making over there?
So now we got some grilled asparagus and we have some cauliflower rice.
I've actually been dying to try this. I'm so excited. So how do I do this?
It's actually like, it's super simple. You just cut the packet or you can pierce it.
Okay.
And you just put it in the microwave for about 3 minutes and that's it.
Oh, this is my kind of cooking.
Quick and easy.
This is exactly how I like to cook. So you don't need to show me how to work the microwave. I've got it.
Okay.
And what are you making there? How are you going to do the asparagus?
Asparagus is also very, very simple. So I'm just going to add a little bit of oil and some salt and pepper.
3 minutes, this, hey?
3 minutes.
Got it.
And that's about it.
So simple.
Yeah, that's it.
And yet delicious. I love asparagus. You know how I usually do it? I put it on a grill like that, or just on a normal grill.
Yes.
And then I put some balsamic vinegar on it.
Oh, very nice.
And then stick that in the grill, in the oven, and then put Parmesan cheese on over the top.
Okay.
I can take anything healthy and make it completely unhealthy within minutes. Okay, so salt and pepper, very basic.
Yeah, salt and pepper, very basic. And I'm just going to switch this on. Some of them have been grilled, so we'll just warm these, and then these will just grill right now.
Fantastic. Quick and easy.
Very, very simple. Very,
and
very
then are we going to use this to maybe sauce up our rice, or is that just left over from that batter?
Yeah, it's left over. You can just, pour it over the cauliflower rice or on top of the fish, just a little bit extra zing. And,
even though it hasn't been cooked, is it going to be quite a tasty little sauce?
Yeah. It's very delicious. I mean, you've got nice fragrant ingredients in there. You have your mint, you have your lemongrass, you have your ginger, and it's amazing. And it's very quick, very easy. Like I said, if you're a mother and you just come in and it's and you're in a rush, then you can just, you can make it very simply.
Fantastic. How's that coming along?
Yeah, it's on. Okay.
Perfect.
Just need to heat it up, and that's about it. Yeah.
Excellent. Remember to cook with us on Afternoon Express. All you need to do is visit our website for all of our ingredients and, of course, for the recipe for this delicious dish. But first, we're going to be back after the break.
Alrighty, welcome back to Afternoon Express. We are live. It is SABC3, and today we are celebrating International World Teachers Day. And don't forget, we're running a competition on our Facebook page where you could nominate your favorite teacher to win a hamper with more than 2,000 Rand. The response was wonderful, and we appreciate the amount of love you all have for your teachers. But now it's time for us to announce the winner of the competition.
Yeah, the winning comment of Afternoon Express's most amazing teacher competition is from Janet Becker. And here's her comment. She says, I nominate Roxanne Stark from Edu College High School, Port Elizabeth. She always goes the extra mile for her students and their parents. Everyone has her cell phone number, and no matter what the time of day is, she's available to her students. She lives for her career, gives everything to her pupils. They're her pride and joy, and gets more excited than the parents at the end of the year when the results come out. She deserves to be pampered.
Congratulations.
Yay. Well done. Excellent. You've won that Dermalogica hamper to the value of more than 2,000 Rand. So on behalf of the entire Afternoon Express team, we hope you enjoy the prize.
We really
She sounds amazing. She sounds incredible.
Really does sound amazing. Yeah. But we also have a caller on the line. Alida.
Hi.
Hi, Alida. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you so much.
What's your comment, Alida?
Well, you know what? I work with the most amazing group of educators at the Robertson CLC. Since the transition from ABET to AE, from basic education to higher education, they have not received a salary since April, and they are so dedicated and still there. So they encourage me, and they are just amazing college.
Thank you so much, Alida. They sound amazing.
Thank you so much.
That is so sad, though, how they haven't received... I mean, those are the first people, I think, that should be paid for the work they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Grant was saying earlier on how he feels the entire profession is so underrated. I mean, every single person here, we can read, we can write because of a teacher.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and as we know, for our country, I mean, education is the answer to most of what we need to everything. And so, I mean, we should really, really be grateful to, especially those teachers that help us along the way, go the extra mile, like those viewers have said.
We do have another caller on the line. Vubala, hello. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Hello.
Hi, Vubala. What's your question or comment?
I want to say something about my teacher.
Yes, go for it.
I just want to thank him for being patient with us and inspiring us to do more.
And which school do you go to, darling?
Chikota Secondary School.
Where is it?
In Limpopo.
Oh, fantastic. Nice. Thank you very much for your call.
And I love you, Mona.
Oh, of course. Don't worry about us. Thank you so much. What a lovely surprise. Have a lovely afternoon, okay?
Well, there you go. I can go home.
But Sello, Robyn and Grant, just in closing, I mean, for anybody that has not watched that hilarious series of yours, what can we expect from the series itself and each of your characters? Sello, let me start with you.
Look, I don't want to give anything away, but expect fun, class, brilliant, fun, laughter.
Yes. Yeah. And you all look like you really love working on it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy and mad, and I think you can feel the madness in it, and I think that we're so proud because we've kind of lifted up the comedy and we're like up another notch. Yeah, happiness.
Yeah, it's really one of those shows that we're so proud of being a part of, and you know, we hope that we can kind of share it with everyone because it's kind of completely off the wall. Those who haven't seen it, and tune in tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Robyn, you look like you have quite a proud bosom on the show.
Oh, yes, the girls.
I mean, wow, they're quite a feature there.
Yes. They're a feature everywhere, Bonnie.
She gets paid extra.
All right. We get BCCSA complaints when... but yours is celebrated.
Yours gets to be a star of a show.
Well, Judy, thank you very much for this delicious meal.
Pleasure.
Are you gonna play it off?
I don't know if I'm going to serve. I'm not really good, so I'm going to allow you guys to serve yourselves.
We do have another caller on the line. Hello.
Tabby.
Tabby, hi. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Hey.
Hey! Who's your favourite teacher, darling?
Well, I actually wanted to ask Robyn a question.
Okay, we're listening.
I wanted to ask her, did she actually love school when she was young, or did she just go to school for fun or what?
All right. Is that for Robyn? For Robyn. All right. So, Robyn, Tabby wants to know, did you actually enjoy school when you were younger?
I did. You know, the thing about me is that I'm a Gemini, so I'm half Gem and I'm half...
Nice.
You just said that! So,
I'm either... So I'm very, very good or I'm very, very naughty. So I was very naughty at school, and then at the same time I was prefect, and then I was very naughty. And,
I have to know what year you were prefect, because we obviously went to the same school if we had the same teachers.
Did we go to Johannesburg, our ballet drama?
National School? Well, I was there when it was NSA.
Yeah, but I'm much older than you, Poppet. I'm much older than you.
So we just Robyn and Judy went to the same school, right? And Bonnie and myself went to the same school as well, a convent, Dominican convent.
It says a lot about our teachers. We obviously did no focusing on academics.
You know what they say about us convent girls, huh?
Yeah, I can agree They're angels.
But Julie, you didn't share your experience with us, your favorite teacher, somebody that impacted your life.
I have got absolutely incredible experiences with my teachers that really did shape and mold me to who I am. So, I mean, I had Mr. Yates, who was an incredible teacher, and this was in primary school. Miss Volmerans, the most incredible woman that I've ever met. Colin Mann. I went to a few schools. And then, of course, there was Mrs. Humer. No, never. No, I was actually quite a nerd at school, to be quite honest. I was a full-on nerd at school. But Mrs. Volmerans, of course, there was Keith Yates. Then there was David Stevens, and then he had Yvette Hardy as well, who was an amazing, amazing drama teacher, incredibly inspiring. And then Mrs. Human, physical theatre. She was amazing. Thank you. She made me move.
She made you move?
She made me move.
Well, there you go. Now we have you. Thank you, darling. Well, thank you to all the fantastic teachers that have been watching. Of course, to you for sharing all your amazing experiences with them. Make sure you tune in again tomorrow for Afternoon Express. We'll be chatting all about the conversation. In the first 15 minutes, we chat to former Miss Earth SA, Catherine Constantides, and we make Sri Rasha and peanut summer vegetable rolls. Make sure you catch an amazing series tonight with Sello, Robyn, and of course Grant at 8 p.m. on SABC3. But Danilo is out of the naughty chair.
Should we beat it?
Can I just say that 3 things I said that could get me out of the naughty corner? Everyone was saying on Twitter. Number 1, I have to give you chocolate, which I said is probably not a very good idea.
No.
Number 2, fit into your heels and walk around our studio. Or number 3, wash the dishes after today's show.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's
Is that a deal? Okay. Does that get me out? Am I done?
So much.
Listen, you don't strike me like the kind of guy that this was your first detention.
Exactly. I knew exactly
so I'm
what
sure you could
where to
handle
hide
it.
phones.
Well, there we go. Signed, sealed and delivered back again 4 p.m. right here on SABC3. From all of us, good evening and happy eating.
Ciao.
Coming up tomorrow on Afternoon Express, we discuss Earth Month with former Miss Earth SA, Catherine Constantinides, and big wave surfer Chris Burtish. And we take a look at Cape Town's green cycle lanes.
Another feel-good production.